Hey guys, welcome to the daily analysis for today. It is December 28th and a Friday, which means it's the end of the month and the end of the week. So today I'm going to take a look at mostly weekly charts as we go over our major pairs, and I'm also going to zoom out and take a few looks at some monthly charts, and just want to give ourselves kind of a preparation for what to expect in the new year. You know, we've been talking about trading in the new year and what 2013 might look like as far as long-term trends and situations, the fiscal cliff hanging in the balance, all of these things going on, and thinking about how it might affect the long-term speculation of the Forex market. And so being that it's the Friday and the 28th, what I want to do is just take a look at the long-term movement of the markets right now and kind of see what that might lead us to believe about 2013. And then obviously it'll be very soon before we're finding out exactly how 2013 is going to shape out. So that's what we're going to cover today. Let me first hit our terms real quickly, and then we'll get back into these charts. Alright guys, and for legal purposes, you do need to see our terms, which basically just say that this is an educational purpose video, and that we're only here to provide you our point of view of the market. It's not to be taken as investment advice. Okay, so if you need to go ahead and read through those, please feel free to pause the video and do so. I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to my charts. Okay, so I'm starting off here with the Euro-Dollar weekly chart, and you can see that again, to point out the obvious, we did break through the level here that we've been watching. We've been monitoring this 131 area, and now price is just sitting slightly above that. It hasn't really made a very bullish move or a bearish move, obviously, yet. And so we're sitting at this level. Again, we did have this move down here, which was a major level for a long time in this triangle. And so it wouldn't be surprising if price struggled all the way through this area where it did back earlier in 2012. So we could see price struggling here for a while before it does make a great move. But at the same time, it is breaking through a level from the upside. So you never know. It could lead to a pretty strong takeoff in any direction. Okay, so that's the weekly sitting right on top of this level. Obviously not yet made a big move. Let me show you the monthly chart of the Euro-Dollar now. Okay, so when we look at the Euro-Dollar monthly chart, you can see that we are in this slightly bearish channel. It's kind of a wedge that's decreasing. You can see the trend line on the top here. Obviously not a trend line that's been tested a lot, but the general flow of the market is slightly bearish. The same thing here at the bottom with the space that we just recently bounced off of and are moving right up from around 119. And so on the monthly look, this run looks very bullish, and there's really no sense in thinking that this won't continue all the way up to where it meets somewhere in this range of our downward move on the euro. Again, on the weekly and especially the daily, it looks a lot more choppy, but on the monthly, it's looking like a great bullish run, and you can see that historically, these bullish runs have moved pretty nicely up off of this area. So that's a pretty bullish expectation for the euro-dollar. And you would assume that 2013 may very well carry out this move to the rest of the upside until it meets somewhere in this zone of resistance. Excuse me, in this zone of resistance that's kind of coming down in a very slight bearish angle. Okay, so that's the Euro-Dollar monthly. I'm not going to look at all the monthly charts, but I just wanted to show you the ones that are pretty interesting. For instance, this Euro-Dollar bearish break on the monthly is very convincing. Actually, I just want to stay on the monthly charts here for just 1 second to show you the pound, and kind of the difference is we still have this slight bearish move on the bottom, but differently on the pound we actually have a pretty bullish downside, or bottom I should say. So whereas the euro is making moves and slightly moving at an overall downward pace, the pound is actually rallying up, and the lows are getting higher as we get towards the middle here, which is around 162. So it's kind of interesting. You can see the difference between the pound and the euro, even though both of them are in similar situations. Now the pound looks like it'll be getting close to a monthly breakout here if it continues this price and bouncing back and forth. And of course that's still a matter of time when you talk about monthly charts, but it will be interesting to see if we do get that breakout. Obviously the pound has been known to have some pretty major collapse. If I scroll back here, you can see that this collapse to the downside here in 2008 pretty much dwarfs the rest of the movement of the chart for the next several years to follow. So something like that is not impossible, and of course you want to be on the right side of the market if something like that were to occur. Alright, next we have the USDCAD, which you can see is building nicely in the upward direction. Just recently broke through the first fib level, the 38.2, from this weekly swing you can see here. Before it broke through, it came up to the 50, pulled back all the way through the 38.2, and is now breaking for the second time. So that leads me to believe that the USDCAD is at least going to come back and test the 50 again, if not break it on its second chance and come back to our next fib level, or next major resistance level even, which is actually really higher than the 61.8. The 61.8, of course, is a fib level, so it is a big level of resistance, but it doesn't correspond as well with other resistance as this area does here, like the 1021 area. Regardless, that's pretty far away, and probably if you're looking for longs, you're not looking for that high of a target anyway. So bullishness at least expected until the 50 fib for me, and perhaps a great break if there's continued momentum. Right now, it is continuing this upward move pretty nicely on the longer term chart, the weekly chart we see here. Speaking of weekly bullishness, you can see that the euro pound is also moving up nicely. There was this major level that it successfully broke through, both with some daily moves and also consistency on the weekly chart. Now, today was a major reversal sign on the daily chart. If you're looking at the daily chart, you probably saw a massive bearish bar, which is where we get this tail bar that we're seeing now. Let me slide this over a little bit. We see this tail bar showing up on the euro pound. So the question is this coming back for a retest into this level, or perhaps even a retest all the way back down to the trend line due to the reversal signals we see now? The euro pound has definitely established itself as a continuation of bullishness, so until it breaks all the way through this trend line, there's no reason to think long-term reversal, but still, nonetheless, it's looking like there might be a retest of either this level or perhaps this trend line before we see more bullishness, at least up to the major level, which I see right here around 82.80. So that'll be an interesting time frame to see how long it takes really for the euro pound to break through there, because as we know, the euro pound does tend to move pretty slowly. So interesting little sign that we have going on. When you look at the monthly chart, you actually see even more bullishness from the euro pound. Let me show you that. And so you can see here 5 months in a row now of bullishness from the euro pound, and although almost every month tends to retrace, you continue seeing bullishness the months to follow. So there's really no reason to expect that it won't be different. Maybe again another pullback, but continuation on the monthly chart seems to be a very high likelihood based on the consistency we've seen so far. So again, heading into 2013, the euro seems to have really mastered strength over the pound, and there's no reason for me personally to think that this thing is not going to continue this reversal and head up towards higher prices, perhaps all the way up to 89.90 in the new year. That's a pretty large claim, but obviously time will tell to see if this can continue, but it certainly seems like the euro is gaining strength every month against this pound. Okay, the last pair I want to cover, guys, is the pound New Zealand. It's one that we typically take a look at every once in a while, and I just want to note that we have this long-term trend line. This is the monthly chart again, and you can see that we definitely have a great bounce on this monthly candlestick off of the trend line. Now, you notice that other bounces have not always followed through. Some have followed through pretty nicely. You can see that's a significant amount of pips there and here as well. So one thing to watch out for when you look at the pound New Zealand is this top here that the monthly has not been able to break through in a while. If this monthly bar does break through early in 2013, we could see a substantial run all the way up near the 2.1 area, which again is a significant amount of pips. If I draw my ruler here from the close, that's about 1,300 pips. So definitely high potential once it breaks here for it to come up and test our next major resistance level, and perhaps actually a lot higher. But this 2.1 area would be the first major level after a break of where we're at now. So I just wanted to note that on the weekly chart, as it is definitely a potential situation happening early in the year in 2013. Alright guys, and that's about it as far as our weekly and monthly analysis for the end of December here. Hope you guys had a great 2012. I may or may not see you in the analysis for Monday, our last day of December, and if not, Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you guys soon.